Okay, here's our next lesson. It's called the solar system. This is a formative assignment. I can investigate and learn about 3 planets in our solar system while creating an interactive Google Slideshow. We're now going to be working obviously in Google Slides. Here is a list of the planets. Pluto is no longer part of it because it is considered a dwarf planet, so it is not part of it. Part of our solar system as a planet. So you are going to be answering 4 of these questions. There are 5 of them here, but you're only going to answer 4 of the questions, which makes it a little bit easier for you, I think. You are going to answer these questions and you're going to turn this into a quiz-like slideshow. So when we start this, every Google Slide presentation is composed of a series of slides. Google Slides allows you to create a dramatic slide presentation, making it more engaging and visually captivating for your audience. You will not be presenting these, but I want you to create it like you're a presenter. When you create anything for a presentation, the visual aspect of it, the visual idea of it has to be high quality because this is what you're asking people to look at while you speak to them. All right, so we're going to start off by we're going to create a title slide. That's your name, hour, and title of presentation. You're going to create a master slide, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that in just a minute. The slides will have a title or a header in large font. You will use of shapes to fill with answers, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. It's similar to what we did when we had to put fun facts about our national park in there. Outline shapes larger than 4 by black. So we want to have the shapes, the circles or the squares that we use outlined with the border of 4 or larger. Align text at the top, center, and background colors. So we're going to have these things. Once you're done, you're going to create the interactive where you can click on the slides and they will move you from slide to slide. That's part of your grade. So you'll have 3 slides on planets. One of the slides will be the question slide, which is going to keep your audience engaged. And then you'll have 2 answer slides. So you're going to have the main slide, the first slide with the 5 questions. So please remember to always start right in Google Classroom. Start right here where it says slides. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this one right here. Here is a layout plan. I've got a couple of them here. I've got my Mars running this way and then I've got Mercury going this way. So I'm going to go ahead and start mine so you can see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to open up my slide presentation. Now this is where you can put information in. I personally don't like to use these boxes. I use my own, but in this case, I guess I'll just start with it. Let's pick the planet Saturn, and I am going to shrink this box up because I want to move it, and I'm going to move it. When you see all 4 of those corners, you can move it. I'm going to extend it so it looks like it goes off the page. And then I'm going to get rid of this box because I don't need it. So I'm going to delete that. So right now all I've got is Saturn up there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 4 boxes for my questions. And I'm going to just come up here to shapes. And I think I'm just going to take, let's just do this one. And I'm going to take this shape right here. And remember, it has to have the border thickness. I'm going to make it black because I prefer to see the dark black. And then, oh, that's highlight. Sorry. No highlight. No. Oops. Canceled. Sorry. Probably over here on the snowman. Nope. Where is my border? Up right here. Silly me. So my border weight, I'm going to take it up to 4. I'm going to change it to black, and I'm going to change the inside color of this. So I'm going to stay selected on that one. And I don't want this to be obnoxious. This would be really obnoxious. So you want to do something kind of calming. That's still too much. Maybe just a passive kind of color. I'm going to fill the background in here. I'm going to do that same yellow up here so that they kind of have that continuity, that match. I can also increase the border here on this box if I want to. I'm going to actually take this box and drag it off the side so we can't see where it ends and where it begins, and I'll show you what it looks like. So if I view my slideshow, this is what it's going to look like. Hit escape to return back, and you can see I just selected right here to look at that slide. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this box and I'm going to copy and paste it. Control C and Control V, because I want the same colors, the same basic shape. I've already done that. Why go and make another one? So maybe what I'll do is I might shrink it up a little bit because it's a little bit too big, I think. So I'm going to delete this guy, come back in, Control C, Control V, and move it down below. You can see as I move things, guidelines pop up to help you center things, to help you keep things straight. And that's really helpful when you are laying out your questions. And then I'm going to do Control V. So here are going to be my fun facts. This is where I have to put something in there, okay? So I've got those two. I'm going to make one more shape. I think I'm going to, you know what, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm just going to pull it in. So now what I want to do right here is I want to put a picture of Saturn right here. So, but before I do that, I want to keep this basic idea. So for all the planets. So I'm going to go ahead and click on over here, and I'm going to do Control C, and then Control V and Control V. Now I have 3 of them that say Saturn on it. I need to go in and change this. I'm going to do this one as Earth. Click on this one. And let's do this one as Mars. Now I have all the same color. I've got to change that because you've got to change it for your viewer. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to follow along very well with you. And I'm just changing it to this orange color. I don't know if you can tell very well. I should be able to select more than one and change them at the same time. Okay, so there's Mars. Let's go to Earth. Let's give Earth like an earth color. When I think of Earth, I'm going to go with a green. And I'm going to select all of them and change them all to green at once. Okay. Remember, work smarter, not harder. So now they're all green. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to double click in there, and you can see my cursor is in there, and I'm going to write time on planet. Now if you remember what I did earlier, I put that highlighter on and I didn't turn it off. So we want transparent. So now that's better. All right, so that's time on planet. Notice how it's centered. I want it to go up to the top of my box. Please remember we did this before with align. I'm going to jump ahead. You're going to see more done on this because I accidentally forgot to show you something. So if I want this question to go up to the top of my box, I would highlight it. And I'm going to close format options, sorry. I'm going to come over here where we have align. And right down here, this tells you it's going to be in the middle. This one's going to take it to the top. And then this one is going to take, we'll take it to the bottom. So if you want your question up there, that's how you can do it. Remember, we don't use the space bar to move things. If you can't remember that, when you are on the web page, I have it spelled out for you right here. Use the align tool, align top, middle, and bottom, okay? Colon, enter, and now what I'm going to do is I am going to go and write the answer in there. I'm going to make this up. Time on planet, 88 Earth days equal 1 day on Saturn, okay? So Saturn is a noun, so it's capitalized. I'm going to increase the font of this, Control B, so that I can make it bold so it stands out. Then I'm going to do my other questions. Okay, I'm going to continue with my other questions. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this again, Control C. I'm over here, I'm copying the slide, Control V and Control V. I've done it twice. I am going to delete 2 boxes. Actually, I'm going to delete one of those slides because I'm not ready for it yet. And I am going to, think I'll put this one down here. And Control C, Control V. You can use different boxes. They don't have to all be the same. I want you to get creative with this. I want you to try new things. This is a really important tool to use. You will use it all throughout your life. I had a kid one time create his Christmas list using Google Slides. His dad absolutely loved it. Time on Saturn, question mark. Now that's written pretty small. I'll highlight this again, silly me. Transparent. So that's written pretty small, so I'm going to enlarge it because I want people to see it. Okay, that looks good. And over here, I'm going to get rid of, oh, look, there's a typo right there. Earth needs to be capitalized. All right, so make sure any planets that you have the correct answer. All right, so this one should be centered because this should be in the middle of our page right here. And then over here, I'm going to put another answer. I'm going to write 126 Earth days equal 1 day on, oops, we're not on Mars, on Saturn. I'm hoping I did that all right because I can't see because I left that on. The reason that is still showing up is because remember I started with that square where I did it and it's still in there, so it's going to stay that way. I don't know why this is down. I'm going to take this back up. Center that again. I'll probably make it, oh, let's finish this. Earth days equal 1 day on Saturn. And you want to make sure you give them choices. And they can be close, they can be however you want them to be. I'm going to make that bold also. Make this bold also. Oops, sorry. Control V. I accidentally hit Control V. So now I'm going to bring this down. I'm centering things. I just want to set it up so it looks good. And these are going to end up being our questions. So here's our question. And then from there, I'm going to delete this slide over here because I jumped ahead a little bit. I am going to, oh wait, Control Z. This is the slide I want to delete, sorry. So notice how I accidentally got rid of the one I just made and I don't want to yet. So I want to go to make another slide. So I'm going to do Control C, Control V. So now it matches. Again, we're not working harder, we're working smarter. So I'm going to pull this answer into the middle. And I am going to type up above it, enter, correct. I can change the size of this font. I don't have to change the whole, all the words in that box. I can just change that. So that one is correct, and you can see how I've got that. I'm going to make a, I've got to put this back up here. See, I've got slide 3 over here. I'm going to go ahead and grab it and put it in between slide 1 and 2. Here's where they get their information that you're going to fill out. Here's where the first question is from your first page. Here's where the answers are, where they select. And now we're working on, oh, sorry. And now we're working on making the correct and the incorrect. So this one is correct, and I'm going to do Control C, Control V. I'm making 2 of these because I want them to match up. So I'm going to take this slide now and put it right on top. And I'm going to write incorrect. Don't be rude about it. Oops. Don't, you know, ha, you're wrong. 6 birthdays, because you know, this is to help people. This is like a study guide. You can use this in your class for your spelling tests, to study anything you want to. Again, I'm going to increase this. I should have paid attention to what size it was on the other one. I'll check it in just a second. So I've got it to 26. I'm going to come back up to this one, get rid of this box. So now again, here's where our information starts in slide 1. Slide 2 is the question that you're quizzing them on. Slide 3 is correct, and slide 4 is correct. Now the one thing I want you to notice is how nothing moves with this word Saturn. Everything is streamless, and that's what you want. Again, if there's a little jump in your boxes or anything like that, it's going to get your viewers off task. They're not going to pay attention. I'm going to right click and I'm going to apply a background now. Let's change the background. We don't want it white because that's kind of boring. I'm going to go with this darker gray color, and I'm not going to do done. I'm just going to do the ones that are about Saturn, that color, again, to make that connection, which ones they belong to. Oops, is that the same gray? Yep. Okay. No, it doesn't look like it. Let's try that again. Okay, so get them all changed. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to come back up here, and you still have 3 more answers to questions to answer. Now what I want to do is I want to add a picture over here of Saturn. I'm going to show you how to do that and a couple other tricks on the title page, and then I am going to leave that for today, and then we will get you guys started. So I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm just going to do Image from Web. Upload. Oops, I did computer. Sorry, I meant web. Insert image, web. And I want to type in here Saturn. So I'm going to grab that picture and I'm going to put it right there. Now one thing I can do that's pretty cool with this is I can't, and I'm trying to center it again in between these 2 pictures. I am going to change this into a fun shape. I can actually make it the same shape as that one. And by doing that, I come up here to where it says crop, and I'm going to come down here and do shape, and I'm going to do the exact same one, and then I can outline it with a 4-inch, and I can make sure that it's black. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's black rounded. Not really, all right? So you can see that it's got the rounded corners. Now something else I can add, I can come up here to Format Options, and I can add a drop shadow. You can't see it right now, so I'm going to go ahead and make it so you can see it. I'm going to pull the distance out, and I'm going to blur this just a little bit so it doesn't show too much, and I can create a drop shadow, which again helps dress up your presentation a little bit. All right, you can do that for, again, your questions here. If you want to make sure you select it, drop shadow. And again, if I wanted to do all of them the same, make sure you select all of them, select drop shadow, and now they will all have the same drop shadow on them and they will look consistent. Because you don't want one going one direction and the other one going another direction, because it's not the way light works. I'm going to pull it out just a little bit. There you go. So that's just to help dress it up a little bit. Okay. Remember, as you're working on this, it's all going up on the Google Drive. Could this crash? Sure. It saves it for you automatically, so you should be safe. So you are going to do the exact same thing that you've done here for Saturn. Now you're going to go ahead and do it for Earth. You're going to repeat making these slides so again that all your buttons and everything line up. Remember, you're going to answer 4 questions from the 5 of them. Now here's the nice part. When you come down here, I've got different layouts. I've got a square sheet inside here, which is really nice if you want to do that. Right here is, again, I've got it differently than what I showed you, what I just did. And then I'll show you the mirror image too in just a minute. All right. The other thing I want to show you how to do is right here. It talks about reflection and drop shadows. So I just showed you those, but I didn't show you the reflection, and I will do that. I did this one with you in case you can't remember. Add a mask. So you go to the crop tool after you have the image, add the mask, and select your shape. Now the last thing I want to show you is this right here. This one is a picture behind font. The font you have to use is this Zilla Slab Highlight. You have to use that one. So let's go back to our presentation. Now I want a new slide at the beginning. So I'm going to come up here and do Insert. Oh, let's not do that. There's an easier way to do it. You just add the plus sign right here. Now it's gone below it. So remember, I love this, how you can move everything around. I am going to write, I might do capitals. Solar system. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. And if you remember, you have to have a specific font. And I know I already have this font because I've done this before. But you guys might have to go out and find it. And I've got it written down there on that helpful hint guide. So I'm also going to make it bold so it makes it thicker. Solar system. This just adds a real, oops, I don't want it to stack, so I'm going to do Control Z to take it back one step. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a picture of the solar system. So maybe I will write, I might just do a sunset, because that might have what I want more so. I'm going to grab this one right here. And I'm going to remember this, when something is not in the right order, I'm going to do order, and I'm going to send it to the back. And now the solar system is in front of it. Now what I want to do is I need to crop this picture. I don't want to shrink it so everything looks funny like that. I want to crop it. So I'm going to come up here to crop, and you'll see the line now. It has this black line on it. I want to bring it down in between here so nobody can see what I've done, my trick that I'm doing here. And then I'll bring this up again, that small black line right there. Bring it up. And then I am going to hit enter, and you will see just that. Now here's the cool part. I'm going to write I think I have to write my name and my hour. And then if you remember, I'm going to squeeze this up a little bit, bring it down here. And then I want to put it over to the left. So I've got to do I'll close this out so I can see more of my stuff. So here is my align, and I want everything over to the left in there. I am going to make this bold. And then I'm going to do one other fun thing with it. I am going to go ahead and change my font color to white. Now you're going to be like, wait, I can't see it, because I'm going to add the background now. And I'm going to change the background to the color black. All right, and I'm going to hit done. So there's my solar system, my name and my hour. The other thing I can add if I would like to, again, these are all options, you don't have to, is you can add a GIF. And I know you're all familiar with a GIF because we love a GIF. So let's go in here and write solar system dot GIF. That'll give you more. And I want Google Images. Let's see. Nope. Let's see. No. I'm not, oh, see, this one here is moving, but see how it's got the white background, so that won't work. There's usually a solar system that I can find that's pretty cool. Let's see what this one does. Well, it'd be a cool picture to have just down in the corner. I don't think it's going to have a GIF motion on it, and that's okay. But you can add GIFs in there if you'd like to. But again, you're going to have an entire slideshow. You're going to have 4 slides for each planet. You're going to have the opening slide for your planet where you're going to teach the person about the planet. Then you're going to pick one question to ask them, and you're going to give them 2 answers. And I'm going to show you in the next video how to make these links because it's a little bit trickier. And then this is the correct answer, and this is the incorrect answer. Now, since I did shadows on here, I probably should do them on these just to keep it consistent, to make it look right. But I'm going to show you that last one that I hadn't shown you. So we're going to come up, and I'm going to close this again. And I am going to go to formatting options, and down here is where it says reflection, and you can see right there how it did the reflection. Again, you have control over the distance of it. I mean, I can make it walk further away, which is not going to show up at all, or the size of it, or the opacity of it. I can make it really hard to see it, so you can barely see it. So again, the choice is yours how you work with it. These have numbers on them, so in case you wanted to create the same shadow in this one, like I've got here, like, so if I click on this and I come over here and I go to format, when I come into drop shadow, so see the opacity is 50, the angle is 127, the distance is 27, and the blur radius is 21. So I could use those numbers to change it on all these other slides. Again, it runs smoothly. You could even, if you wanted to, this is where some kids get a little more creative, they add the color green in here because it's correct. They kind of act like it's a stoplight, and then they add the color red in here, not like flaming red, but just enough to capture their attention so that people see that they've moved to another one. And I'll show you how to do those next time. So again, I'm going to remind you, here are the 5 questions. You're picking 4 of them. Answer 4 questions for each planet. Create a slide for each planet, and then we're going to add our links in the next video, which we'll do in a couple days. We're not doing it tomorrow or anything. Don't forget to come down here and look for helpful hints. Remember to start right in the assignment. Come over here to the planet you've chosen. You can turn your font. You guys know how to do that. My expectations are these are going to be super creative because the next assignment we do, we get to have a lot of fun with it. All right? So you can see right here how Mercury, every time I change, nothing moves except the answer.